hit some shoulders, baby. Ooh, this is good. Yeah, come on, buddy. So when you're hitting these, try not to just pull, because that's gonna hit rhomboids and your back. Try to rotate. So instead of pulling towards your face, rotating towards your face. Yes, because that's the whole thing that's like what your rear delts do is the exterior rotation. Oh, yeah, you're kind of pulling, and as you pull in, exterior rotate those shoulders. Because if you're just pulling, that's just rhomboids. There you go, bud. Those are looking good. Okay, I can even see the divot in your rear delts when you do that now. Good. It's like picture perfect form, buddy. All right. Oh man. One more else. I think the next one will be a drop set. A little bit of a drop set. I'm only gonna do 2 drops on it, but not very often we hit any front delt, but we're gonna hit some front raises today. Help round things out. Oh, yeah. Final set of these. Ooh. All right, guys, a short but pretty dang effective shoulder pump in the books. My, especially a career and career delts, super pumped right now. I have no explanation for it. Super pumped. But we got to be real for a second. So that has to be this gym will probably be out of the rotation from now on, or only on Sundays after church, because typically it's dead on a Sunday night. And I hate to say that, I love that gym, but so the manager there has always been a bit of a interesting character. I just don't think he really thinks out what he says sometimes. He says some stuff that kind of gets on your nerves, or it's just ignorant, and you kind of just pass it off as he's a bit of a meathead, and he doesn't figure out what he says sometimes, and he means well. Like, he seems like he means well. I've never really had too many issues with him outside of Kieran there. But I don't know if this kid's his nephew, cousin, what he is to him. But he started coming to the gym, and he has the same attitude as the manager of this gym, but like elevated by like 10. And he's ignorant, very rude. Just, he will outright look right at you and start laughing. And as someone who has lost a total of 170 pounds over the last 8 years, I've gotten my personal training certification, my nutrition certification. I'm renewing it right now. I'm redoing these classes. I'm CPR certified. I want to do an online school for kinesiology. I'm currently dieting down for a bodybuilding show. Like, I know what I'm doing in the gym. And that kind of stuff irks me. When people look at you and just assume you don't know what you're doing because you're still overweight. And, like, I've come a long way from the 300-pound kid who didn't know anything about the gym or fitness. And it is so frustrating. And it just brings out this freaking, like, irrational anger in me when people treat me like I couldn't possibly know what I'm talking about or what I'm doing. Because I've put in the work. This kid has always been, lean with a fair bit of muscle on him. And he's one of those people that as soon as he starts working out, packing on muscle came easy to him. It's not that he's knowledgeable. It's not that he's worked out for years. It's genetics. He's gifted. I'll give him that. But to treat people who are, less fortunate than you in the genetic department with just blatant disrespect and ignorance, excuse my language, it pisses me off. And I'm not a confrontational person. I do not get angered easily. I do not, want to pick fights. I never feel the need to pick a fight. I would never want to be in a fight. I've been in one in my entire life, and I didn't start it. But if someone's going to start one, I will finish it. Self-defense, common sense even. Don't just sit there and take it. But that entire workout, I wanted to deck both of them in the face the whole time. And what makes fun? When I first got there, the younger one, the manager's relative, I don't know what he is to him. He walks up. I'm talking to somebody, a friend, while waiting for Brandon to get to the gym. I'm getting the music on the speaker, setting up the camera, and I'm talking to this friend. He walks up and goes, "What the F's the camera for?" And I said, "YouTube." And he just smirks and starts laughing. I ignored him. Continued the conversation with my friend. My friend asked, "What split did we do and what did we hit yesterday? Were we hitting upper body?" I said, "Nah, man, we were hitting arms." I said, "We were doing a back by, chest try, shoulders, forearms, and legs as our split. So, protagonist, antagonist training, and then a shoulders and a legs." And I said, "But, to spice things up, to keep it fresh, God, there's something in my nose, sorry guys. But to keep things fresh, we switched back to a bro split for right now." I said, because sometimes it's just more enjoyable that way to have like a dedicated arm day, a dedicated leg day, a dedicated back day, chest day, so on and so forth. And I said, it also just helps sometimes when you get to the end of say a back day, now your biceps are pretty exhausted, which, they're still getting hit as the antagonist in the movement of all your back exercises. But now you might only hit 2 or 3 exercises and maybe not even get as good of a bicep exercise as if you had a dedicated arm day. And that kid, again, he didn't walk off. He's sitting there just eavesdropping on my friend's conversation, smirks and laughs and walks away. I'm like, okay, that's ignorant. And so now I'm kind of already frustrated at the kid. Brandon gets there. I set up our first exercise. And we're hitting our face pulls. And we get to the end of our third set. And, when I get to the end of face pulls, I start to add a little body English to get a few more reps in. I'm training till failure. I don't want to just do strictly clean the whole way through and miss out on gains. And so, but people do it all the time. You watch Pumping Iron and you see Arnold on the cable row machine, and he's like leaning all the way forward and like rocketing his body back to get more sets in it. It's not uncommon in the gym to go from clean form to adding a little body English to get out a few cheat reps to get more out of your training and to push to or even beyond failure. And you'd think the manager, also being the personal trainer in the gym, would know that. But instead, he makes an ignorant comment. What form is that? What, you practicing hip thrust? And then him and his, freaking twin start laughing. And it took everything in me not to look him dead in the eyes and say, "No, I was thinking about your mom." Because I was just, I was so mad, but smiled and said, "Nah, man, I was thinking about my ex's mom." And he laughed about it, which made him drop it. And I was like, okay, sweet. Just walk away. Walk away. We go start hitting shoulder press. That ignorant freaking kid walks up. I think he was doing shrugs. I just hit my first set, and he, stood behind the camera and watched me hit my first set, kind of off to the side. Like I see him in the mirror, kind of come up and wait for me to hit my set on shoulder press. I get up, and he takes these freaking 100-pound, whatever they were, dumbbells, and drags them right in front of the bench I'm using, and stands there and hits his shrugs, and then leaves them sitting in the floor, right where my feet would be for a freaking bench. That's why I moved, if you've noticed, and maybe you guys didn't, but I moved the seat at least 3 feet over because of that. And then the next set, even Brandon pointed out, and I thought maybe I was seeing things. He walked up, smirked, and kind of chuckled while I was hitting shoulder press, probably because I was only using the 55s. It just depends on the day. I've hit the 75s for him before, but that was just like a really good day. I can't explain that. But since then, I shoot for about between the 55 and the 65s. So either 55s to 60s or 65s, depending on how I felt. Today was a 55 day. It's just where I'm not going to injure myself. You feel things out. And that's why I started with the 55s. If I felt great, I would have jumped up. But I felt like, okay, 55s is all I got in me today. So I guess he's laughing at what weight I'm pressing on shoulder press. I don't freaking know. But it's just ignorant. So at that point, I told Brandon, I was like, we're hitting front raises and we're out. I said, I really wanted to hit, we're hitting lateral raises, front raises, and we're out. I'm done. I'm going to swing on somebody and get in trouble. And it sucks because we have free membership there, and I do actually love that gym. I've been going to it for 5 of the 8 years I've trained, and that kid alone, and the way him and the manager bounce off of each other because they have very similar personalities and everything, just irked me to death today. And I don't like feeling that way. I do not like feeling confrontational. I do not like feeling aggressive. I was taking it out on the weights thinking this. But it took everything in me, legitimately everything in me, not to just walk up and deck them with one of them with no explanation. And I wish I didn't say that. I wish I didn't just say that that's how I felt, but I did. And it takes me off. It takes me off so much. So that gym, it might not be fully out of rotation. It's already, a place we don't go to as much because now I work at Planet. So that's just kind of naturally slipped into the spot of main gym. But now we're going to go even less. We're not going to go out of our way to go there on Mondays and Tuesdays now. We're going to hit it on Sundays because, it's closer for me and Brandon after church than Planet is. And typically on Sunday nights, after evening service, no one's there anyways, or 1 or 2 people might be there. So, but typically they're not there. So I'm going to continue to, because I run their social media. I'm their social media manager for my membership there. I'm going to continue to do that, but we're just not going to. It frustrates me so much because I do love that gym. But but to stop being so negative about it, and at least it pushed a pretty good workout out of me because I was being aggressive towards the weights because of it. Even though it was only 4 movements, I have a really good shoulder pump. I'm not disappointed in the quality of the workout, even if it was fairly short and shorter than it would have been. It was still good. And it also just has me more determined now, more than ever. Not that I wasn't before, but to get to 160 and step on the Summer Shred-a-thon stage. And then I can look that kid in the eyes and be like, yeah, you really think you're something. But you're not. I've been on stage. I'm showing and all you do is you come in and you hit the gym, and he brags to people about his parents' money, and he drives his mommy and daddy's Jeep Wagoneer, and it tells people about his mommy and daddy's business at the Lake of the Ozarks, and mommy and daddy's money, and mommy and daddy's boat. Like, it's so annoying to listen to. Like, the last time we were there, he was talking to a buddy about, oh, my dad has this boat, and it was so nice, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, no one cares. No one cares. It's not a flex to flex your parents' money. It's not. Earn your own. And then you can flex that. And even then, people don't want to hear it. But at least you have the right to flaunt it because you earned it. You didn't, you weren't born into it. So now even more, I want to compete in the Summer Shredathon, and I want to win, and I want to get sponsorships, and I want to open my own gym, and I want to look that kid in the eyes and be like, yeah, this is what it means to accomplish something. This is what it means to not be handed something in life. I wasn't handed this car. The only vehicle I've ever been, I was helped with and paid back this car because of the situation I was in, right? But that's the thing. The only vehicle I was ever handed was my first one, and I still had to pay my parents back for it. I paid my parents' rent to live with them after a certain point. I was expected to go out and get a job if I wanted my first phone, in my car, and my license. And this kid is he's definitely a kid that was born into a more privileged life. And those are sometimes they're the worst kind of people. And they don't have to be. There are people who are born into successful families, whether it be people who own business or, own businesses, but they have money, who aren't just inherently unpleasant to be around and arrogant. But this kid, it's like, you come into the gym, he's a dick to everybody. You can tell by the way he walks around the gym, he thinks he owns the place. He laughs at people from across the room. You'll catch him just smirking and laughing at you. He'll try to walk up and critique your form. One time we were hitting curls, cable curls, and I'm pushing till failure with a good clean form, and then I'm repping out more with body English, and afterwards he walks up, he goes, you could actually just slow it down and control it more on the negative when you start to fail instead of doing cheat reps, man. And I was just like, cool, thanks for your advice, dude. Go hit your workout. The kid's like 20, but he thinks he owns the gym, he thinks he knows everything, and it's just very unpleasant to be around. And just today was kind of my final straw with it, because feeling the actual urge to hit somebody, that's just not who I am, and it's not something I want to feel. And if the kid watches my videos, I know some of the kids who go to that gym watch these videos, and so they might open their mouth. I don't want to not like you, dude, but you make yourself a very unlikable person when you act cocky and fool yourself and brag about mommy and daddy's money and mommy and daddy's house on the lake and stuff like that. No one cares. Come in, hit your workout, mind your own business. Unless you see someone just undoubtedly using terrible form and they're going to get injured, mind your business. I've been going to the gym long before you. I've seen more. I may not look like it because I'm not blessed in the genetics department like you are, but I've made more results than you. I've lost 170 pounds in total. I lost from 300 to 180, and you may not be good at math, so 120. That's a 120 difference. There you go. COVID happened. Gyms are locked down. You're not supposed to be out and about. So your family goes in, buys groceries really quick, gets back out. There's also shortages of many things. So, not the best diet during COVID. No gyms during COVID. Went back up to 250. Lost 50 pounds. That's 170. Just in case you don't know how to do math. And you've maybe put on a few pounds because you have better genetics than me. Or maybe mommy and daddy's money buys you testosterone. Because I have a hard time believing you're natty. But enough said. I'm sure I'll get myself in trouble because I'm sure his buddies do watch these videos. Because some of them have walked up and said they watched the videos. I'm pretty sure they're this kid's friends. I'm not trying to be mean, but today, yeah, that gym's out of the rotation. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not. So, anyways, enough about a pretty crap experience at Cuba's gym today. I will see you guys tomorrow for legs. I need to actually look back through our split and see if we're on a quad day or a full leg day because I don't actually remember. But it'll be 1 to 2. So either full leg day or quad focus day tomorrow, guys. See you then.